gold has moved literally like a bulldozer in first gear. You haven't seen any big, huge spurts. We've not seen $100, $200 days, but those are coming. We could go on like this, and in a month or two, or even less, we get a spike. I mean, you could see $3,000 gold pretty easy. Silver broke through 32.50 on Friday. We're trading. We traded as high as what 32 or 34 and a quarter, 34.50 today. Silver to me looks like that's going to be explosive. All along, I've said that silver would be gold on steroids.
Gold has experienced a remarkable run this year, capturing the attention of investors and market analysts worldwide. Starting the year at $2,063.73 per ounce, the price has surged to $2,734.46 per ounce as of October 25, 2024. This increase of $670.73 per ounce reflects a growth rate of approximately 33% in just over 10 months. BillHolter, a respected financial analyst with deep expertise in global economics and precious metals, has been closely watching these developments. Holter notes that, after a slow summer, a surge in sales of physical precious metals emerged in September and October, signaling a renewed interest in gold and silver as economic hedges. Holter points out that gold's gradual but steady upward trajectory may still have room to grow, with the potential to reach $3,000 per ounce in the near term. This growth comes on the heels of a new high, reached in August, when gold hit $2,525 per ounce, a milestone at the time. Yet rather than stalling, gold's price has since climbed by more than $200 per ounce, making this past year an extraordinary one for gold. Investors who previously viewed such peaks as ceiling prices now perceive them as stepping stones to even greater valuations. Adding to this momentum, Holter underscores the importance of the gold-silver ratio, a measure that reflects how many ounces of silver it takes to purchase 1 ounce of gold. Historically, this ratio has been around 16 to 1, due in part to the practicalities of transporting these metals. Today, however, the ratio hovers at about 81 to 1, with a recent uptick from 81.26 on Thursday to 81.83 on Friday. Holter anticipates that this ratio could narrow significantly, potentially reaching a range of 20 to 30 to 1, implying a considerable increase in silver's value relative to gold. Make sure to tune in for our expert analysis. Don't miss out on future content. Hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications to stay in the loop. Your support is greatly appreciated.
This year, like I said, I mean, I've seen more sales, but they're all small. 5,000, 10,000, 25, 50. Business in North America was good for the first 5 months, and then June, July, and August, it was slow. And I can tell you it's definitely picked up in September and here in October. I mean, I've done a huge amount of sales just in the last 4 weeks alone. So big money is definitely moving into gold and silver. To speak to, does gold have the momentum? Gold is not overbought. It's close to being overbought, but like I said, gold has moved literally like a bulldozer in first gear. You haven't seen any big, huge spurts. We've not seen $100, $200 days, but those are coming. I mean, we could go on like this, and in a month or two, or even less, we get a spike. I mean, you could see $3,000 gold pretty easy. Silver broke through 32.50 on Friday. We're trading. We traded as high as what 32 or 34 and a quarter, 34.50 today. Silver to me looks like that's going to be explosive. And I mean, all along I've said that silver would be gold on steroids, and that's just a function of the ratio. The ratio at, I think it's 81 ounces buys 1 ounce of gold now. I could easily see that in a fairly short period of time come down to the 50-40 zone, and you'd basically have a doubling of, silver's action versus gold. It will outperform gold, I think, at least 2 to 1. I mean, for hundreds of years, it was 16 to 1. And the reason being, it comes out of the ground basically at 10 to 1. And because gold and silver had to be moved or transported, by carriage or mule or whatever, man discounted the price of silver. And it was agreed upon that a, uh, a 16-to-1 ratio versus 10-to-1 was appropriate. It was enough of a discount to entice people to move 10 times as much metal, silver, as opposed to gold. So that's why it was discounted from 10-to-1, because that is the ratio that it comes out of the ground. I could easily see it coming down to the 20 to 30 range, and that would make sense. And an additional push to silver is that Russia announced last week or the week before that they're going to start buying silver. Well, guess what? There is no silver to buy. I mean, silver's been in a deficit now for 4 years. There's no above ground supplies where Russia's going to be able to buy their silver from. And what will end up happening is just by whatever buying they do, if it has to come off of COMEX or LBMA, those inventories, they're going to fail to deliver. And then it's game over. You get a reset of everything. And I don't know, where does gold and silver reset? I think 20 is probably a decent number. I've heard some people say that, silver is going to become more valuable than gold. And I think that's laughable.
At the Brics summit currently underway in Kazan, Russia, a significant development captured the spotlight as Russian President Vladimir Putin presented a mock-up of the much-anticipated Brics currency. Dubbed the Brics Bill, this is the first visual reveal of the new currency, which has been at the center of discussions within the alliance for years, though its formal launch has not yet been announced. Earlier today, Chinese President Xi Jinping made a historic statement about the bloc's new payment system, emphasizing the strategic importance of an alternative to the current financial order. There is an urgent need to reform the international financial architecture, Jinping said, underscoring the importance of this shift for nations pursuing a multipolar global structure. Financial analyst BillHolter has previously suggested that as Brics nations move to back their economic initiatives with gold, individual countries are likely to earmark their gold reserves specifically for this purpose, keeping them within their own borders. Rather than creating a centralized storage location, Brics members will maintain domestic holdings and rely on independent audits to verify each country's gold backing. This structure contrasts with the U.S., which has not conducted an audit of its gold reserves since 1956, fueling speculation about the actual size of its holdings compared to nations like China, whose reserves are suspected to be much larger than reported.
I think what's going to happen is the gold held by Brics nations will have to be segregated and earmarked toward the unit. How they do that, I have no idea. But no, they're not going to actually ship their gold, to one central location and say, this is the gold that's backing it. There's no way they're going to do that.
So
but
they're not creating a second Fort Knox somewhere in the middle of Mongolia?
There will be audits, and that's the important thing. There will be independent audits. And the United States has not had an audit since 1956. So do we really have 8,300 tons of gold? And does China really only have, what's the number, 3,700 tons or whatever? No, I think China's got 10 times that. And the U.S. maybe only has 10% of what we say we have. It's impossible to know. There's no way to know. The fact that, looking at Ukraine, that's basically NATO versus Russia/Russia's allies. And they just recently signed, I think with China, they signed with Iran, I believe they signed with India. An attack on any of those means all of those come forth versus NATO. And the real danger for the West is that something does actually explode and there is military action, because we're going to find out, in my opinion, that the military, Western militaries do not stack up against Eastern militaries. Russia has hypersonic missiles. There's no country in the West that has hypersonic missiles. And in the words of my late partner, if you cannot catch it, you cannot kill it. So, I hope this doesn't blow up into a outright military East versus West action, because we're going to find out that the West has no clothes, and the clothes that the leaders of the West, and I'm referring to U.S. generals, U.S. admirals, these idiots are running around in high-heeled shoes and skirts. The West has gone woke, and you can't tell me that Xi Jinping or Putin or any of the Eastern leaders are going to be scared, of a bunch of tranny leaders in the West.
The surge in gold prices, coupled with Brics' moves toward economic independence, signals a potential shift in the global financial order. With the unveiling of the Brics currency model and initiatives like the new payment system, these developments reflect a growing trend toward reducing reliance on the US dollar. This shift, especially if backed by gold reserves, could reshape international finance. As more investors and nations turn to precious metals, the gold and silver markets may continue their upward trend. What implications do you think a Brics-backed currency might have for the future of the global economy? Share your perspective in the comments section. If the video resonates with you, join our community by subscribing to our channel and enabling notifications with the bell icon. Thank you for being a part of our community.